Jingu is worried about Yohei, but she stays on the ground due to the terror she is experiencing. Sunk tells Jingu that it was close and if he hadn't noticed the movement of the statue, they would all be dead. Sunk supposes that he told them to get down because he knew, but Jingu says no, he simply felt an imminent threat at that moment. He realizes that Sunk has lost his arm and helps him try to stop the bleeding. Sunk mentions that he should have asked Yohei for help, but she is mentally weak and that's why she can only join simple raids despite being a rank B healer. He also tells Jingu that he has participated in a couple of rank B missions, but that giant statue could be rank A or even rank S. The commandments of the Sennin Temple are written in stone. First, worship God. Second, praise God. Third, believe in God. Those who do not obey these commandments will not come out alive. Jinwoo believes that the mentioned God should be that statue. After crouching down for a while to stay safe, Sunk comments that it is too strong to fight and they should look for an escape route. At that moment, another member of the group starts complaining about the situation, saying that he finally made a contract with a large guild and cannot die there, relying on his speed to do it. He rushes towards the door, but in the blink of an eye, the giant statue shoots its beam at him, disintegrating his whole body and leaving only his feet, causing instant death. Seeing that, Jinwoo says that if he wanted to, he could kill them all, but wonders why he doesn't do it, thinking that it's not like the monsters that attack when they see you. After remembering something, he asks Sunk what the first rule was, which is to respect God. After hearing it, Jingu talks about how this dungeon has rules and starts to stand up. Sunk tries to stop him, but seeing his eyes, he realizes that he hasn't given up on death. The statue prepares to shoot its attack at Jinwoo, but he quickly bows his head, causing the statue to stop. He asks everyone to bow their heads towards the statue, explaining that apparently it doesn't attack when you bow your head. He is quite sure of his theory. At that moment, everyone prostrates themselves before the statue, and after a few seconds, the giant statue raises a very sinister smile. Park stands up and sees that it's not doing anything, confirming that they can relax now. The others do the same, but Jinwoo thinks that it's not over yet. Suddenly, the giant statue stands up and starts walking slowly towards them. Jinwoo tells Sunk that he doesn't have a plan, but he believes that he can't break the rules, reminding him that the second rule was to praise God, so it must be the key. One of the group members tells everyone to leave that problem to him, explaining that he studied folk customs, so he knows some praises for the gods. That's why he starts pronouncing the words to worship the statue. After listening to it, Jingu realizes that it is not an idol to be praised. He advances towards this particular god, but it is too late to do anything because, to everyone's surprise, the statue crushes that person. In response, everyone starts running to get away. However, one of the girls is petrified with fear and gets crushed as well. The others separate and Jinwoo takes Yua to help her escape. Park thinks that he cannot die in this place because his family is waiting for him. He asks everyone where they are and if they are safe. Kim warns him to be careful with the statue behind him, but it is too late. Park is seen being cut in half instantly by the statue. Jingu tries to think about what they should do and wonders what they should exalt since the thing is a demon. However, he cannot leave Yua alone, so he searches for clues in the surroundings. He notices that all the statues have different weapons, and thanks to that, he realizes that some of them have instruments. He asks the survivors to go to those statues. Song approaches one of them, and this causes the statue to start playing a melody, indicating that the statues with instruments do not attack. Kim finds one to take cover, and Jinu and Yua also find one. However, Jinu realizes that his statue does nothing, thinking that there cannot be two people there. He tells Yua not to move and quickly runs to the next statue with an instrument. This causes the giant statuetto start chasing him. Despite running as fast as he can, the statue quickly catches up to him and steps on him. Jinu jumps to the side to avoid being crushed, and Sunk warns him that the statue is not real. He finds himself in front of a statue with a shield. Before he realizes it, the statue throws the shield at him. After a few seconds, Jingu crawls out of the dust cloud, barely escaping death. He reaches the instrument statue and makes it play. With the combination of all the statues, they make the giant statue sit back on its throne. He quickly runs towards Jinwoo, worried about him, but upon closer inspection, she notices that he has lost his leg. She uses her healing powers to treat his wound. The survivors gather together, and Kim talks about how Sunk lost his arm but that it was ultimately his decision as the leader. This leads to a small argument, but Sunk accepts responsibility for everything. At that moment, something emerges from the center of the giant statue, and Jinwoo says that it is an altar. Altars appear constantly in myths to make offerings or sacrifices. Jinwoo reminds everyone that the third rule is to believe in God. Kim understands what they need to do and points his sword at Sunk's neck, telling him that they split a man in half who bragged about his wife, and many more died. He asks Sunk to take responsibility, and Sunk reluctantly agrees. He goes to the altar on his own, and as he approaches, a flame ignites in the circle around it, but nothing else happens. After thinking for a moment, Jingu tells the others that he wants to investigate the altar. He asks them to take him there. When the three of them enter the circle, 3 blue flames ignite. Jinwoo asks Sun if they will be rescued if they stay in this place. Sun replies that the portal opened a week ago, but these statues will do something before they are rescued. Jingu remembers that the portals fully open after 7 days, and the dungeon breach occurs where monsters come out from outside the portal. To prevent this, they must defeat the dungeon boss in time. This is the other objective of the raids. If they fail in this place, the giant statue will come out into the world. We are briefly shown Gina, who visits her mother in the hospital and sits by her side to tell her about her life while she remains unconscious. Returning to the others, Jingu asks them to come closer, as this will ignite a flame for each of them, and if something happens, that will be the key. As soon as they do this, blue flames ignite all around the circle, and then the door opens. After that, one of the blue flames goes out, but the statues also leave their places and start approaching slowly. Jingu starts to notice something when he looks at them closely. He tells Yuan not to close her eyes because the statues move if they don't look at them. He explains to everyone that it's like the children's game and asks them not to take their eyes off the statues. This works and makes the statues stop moving. After several seconds, the girl holding Jingu starts to panic and, unable to bear it any longer, closes her eyes and runs quickly towards the exit, managing to escape the room without any harm. They ask Jinwoo what happened, as the door closed on its own, but she was saved. Jingu wonders why that happened, knowing that the blue flames disappear over time and an orange one disappeared as soon as she escaped. Upon analyzing it, she understands that it is a trap of fear, danger, and hope right in front of them. It may be a test of everyone's faith. Another member of the group also succumbs to the pressure and runs quickly towards the exit. Kim tries to do the same, but Jingu shouts at her to stop, as having more people will create a blind spot. Jingu tells everyone that they will be fine if they keep their eyes on the statues. The blue flames are a timer, and when they go out, they will be able to escape. Kim says it is also possible that when all the flames go out, they will be trapped again. She confesses that she did not expect Jingu to do so much, being the weakest, and that they have survived thanks to him. But she also has a family and does not want to die. She apologizes to everyone and runs away. Jingu becomes frustrated with the desperate situation but remains determined to survive, as he has been through something like this many times before. After a few seconds, Sunk asks him and Yohei to escape together, as the door will not close completely if someone stays behind. The young ones ask Yua to take Jingu with her, and she agrees. However, she suddenly falls to the ground and cannot get up, telling Sunk that she has no strength in her legs. Sunk realizes that she must have overexerted herself when healing Jingu. Jingu asks Sun to escape with Yogi, making it clear that she cannot save herself. She asks him to hurry as the statues continue to approach. Yua tries to refuse, but Jingu interrupts her by reminding her of the promise to invite her to dinner and gives her a crystal to pay for the meal. He says he will get the change when he gets out. Before he can continue speaking, Sunk knocks Yua out, apologizing to her as there is no more time. They leave the room right after. This leaves Jingu alone, thinking that he should have gotten a better life insurance policy. Meanwhile, the statues continue to approach him. He picks up a sword from the ground, declaring that he will take at least one of them with him. However, the statues start launching devastating attacks, leaving him no chance to defend himself. With each attack, he receives mortal damage. Thinking about his last minutes of life and how he also wanted to be stronger but couldn't. Still, he made an effort in his own way to get there. Before he can shout for help, he is suddenly impaled by a weapon. Remembering Kim's words about him justifying himself and thanking her to pretend, he thinks about how those who put themselves above others always win and that he also has a family, so he wants to return alive. Suddenly, he is lifted by the statue that impaled him and thrown onto the altar. In his last moments of life, he realizes that he doesn't want to die and that everything would be different if he had another chance. In that instant, the statue in front of him swings its sword towards him, ending his life. As the last blue flame goes out, everything turns black. Suddenly, pop-up windows appear out of nowhere, talking about a secret mission called Valor of the Week and asking if he has the qualifications to be a player. It asks if he wants to accept and warns that his heart will stop in 0.02 seconds. He decides not to accept. Wanting confirmation of his decision,